For years, creators have been told, keep the project secret. Don't share the idea, don't share the scripts, don't share the process. Well, my guests this week are doing the exact opposite. Jacqueline Demas and Chris Jamal are the co-founders of We Ghosted Media, and they're building their new show, Owen Nowhere, in public. They've shared the casting process, script revisions, even the moment their lead voice actor learned he got the role. It's really cool, but in reality, they're building more than just a show. They're experimenting with a new way for creators to launch stories, one where the audience gets to follow along, participate, and maybe even shape what comes next. So, this was just a fascinating look into what just might be the future of animation. Here we go. All right, this is the Story Series, the podcast for writers who break the rules. Jacqueline Demas and Chris Jamal, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I'm thrilled to talk to you both. So, you two are the founders of We Ghosted Media, and I want
hmm
to talk all about what you're doing there. But before we get started, I would love just to, up top, just get a brief introduction from both of you. If Jacqueline, if you'd like to start.
Yeah. So I'm Jacqueline Demas, and I've been a producer and writer in the kids and family media space for 20 years. I like to say my career is divided into two halves. So the first half was I produced different shows, different animated shows, mostly preschool content, Peg Plus Cat for PBS Kids, The Wonder Pets on Nick Jr., Click Clack Moo on Amazon. And so a big chunk of my career was producing different shows. And then the second half of my career was writing and producing campaigns for Nickelodeon International Creative. So I worked on 360 campaigns, integrated marketing, promoting all of their big franchises like Paw Patrol and SpongeBob. And when I left there, Chris and I got together and we started We Ghosted.
Yeah, hey, Chris Jamal. And yeah, I've worked in animation as well for, I don't know, like 20 years or so. Straight out of college, I just moved to New York and like worked on a little bit of like everything in preschool, everything. And I just here and there, just crazy studios. Yeah, then I moved about 6 years ago out to LA. And I landed a job on Bob's Burgers, which I'm still on. And
Great.
I love it. I'm a assistant director on the show and doing boards. And then I met Jackie back
hmm
in New York, and I was like, I don't know, something we were like, hey, we should pitch some
We
ideas,
should work together. Yeah.
work together, and here we are. We formed We
Yeah.
Ghosted, and
hmm
For people who don't know, it's a creative production studio at the intersection of blockchain, Web3, animation, and digital media. So, first,
hmm
just up top, I've heard of blockchain, I've heard of Web3. Could you just, in a nutshell, just talk about what that is?
In a very, simple way to describe it, because we are still learning all about blockchain and Web3, but the simplest way to say it is blockchain is like a digital record book. So it shows exactly where a piece of content comes from and who owns it. So for, like, us, for original content creators, it can help protect the work that we allow fans to participate in.
Yes.
So you kind of know exactly where it came from. There's no confusion about who owns it. So that's what a blockchain is essentially.
Yes, and that speaks to the mission of what you're trying to do with We Ghosted, which is,
Right.
could you talk about that dynamic of bringing in the fans or the viewers to have an impact on the storytelling?
I come from like doing these shows, and it's all been big time networks and stuff. So it seems like with YouTube and all these little things, like the studios right now in the world we live in are kind of like, who knows what they're doing right now. They're basically not picking up any new shows. They're like, I don't know, they're buying studios with what money? Who knows? Uh, what we've gathered is that basically it seems like the industry is kind of lending itself to the user and the content creator. What I know of blockchain and Web3 is that this is like a platform where you can start something, you know where the IP exists, you own the IP, everything everything trickles down to the ownership of who created this.
It is harder and harder to get shows off the ground now. There's
Yes.
fewer opportunities, traditional opportunities
hmm
across every major studio. And what I see personally is people wanting to do things themselves. and wanting
Yes.
to just do it and not wait. And so could you, just to step back, could you take us to the moment where you two kind of had that initial spark of, hey, we want to make a studio together, but we want it to be creator based? Or where was that insight in the process?
During COVID and all those other, when we had this show idea, and we have many other ideas, we
Hmm.
would pitch our ideas to these big networks, not saying names, but every pitch we did, the pitch would go great. Everyone loved it. But then no callbacks. You would not hear a single word from any like studio. And you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like don't
Okay,
they
the
have
ghosted
one
is making sense now. Hang on.
Yes,
they have
Yeah,
exactly.
please
they have
continue.
one job just to contact. And
Yeah.
I don't care if I get rejected. It's fine. I've been
Yeah.
rejected
Right.
many times.
Totally. Yeah. Right. But it's just not hearing anything. And even though, executives or whoever took the pitch is like, yes, we want to move forward. We'll give you guys a call. And then it's us on the other end constantly emailing, like, why aren't they emailing back? And it's like months go by
Right.
and it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Like if you're even if the show gets picked up, you might get it into development and it might just sit there for years and years. And you're like,
Right.
Yeah.
this
Which has
struggle and
happened. Yeah.
stress of you loving a project, loving an idea of what you want to do. And it just sits there in limbo because executives change, producers change,
Yeah.
and then you're like, what's going on with your project? So
Yeah.
I think it was like last year with
Mhm.
Lamina One.
You mentioned Lamina One. Could you just explain who they are?
Yeah. So Lamina One is a Web3 platform.
Hmm.
And they are really interested in animation at the moment, especially, and they want creators to bring their content to their platform. So they're still in the very early stages of building out each space. So they're calling it the spaces, and Owen Nowhere will be on its own space. So that's what we're building with them right now. But they are really interested in what we're doing. They're interested in us as creators, as people, and they really want to break into animation, especially in like kids and family. So
Yes.
we're hoping, our big hope is not only do we want, of course, we want Owen to be successful on their platform, but we also want to inspire other creators in our industry because our industry right now is kind of in this weird place that there is another outlet that there's another option to
Right.
get your creations out there. Like we want to really make this, successful, profitable, and we want to control our distribution. Like we want to have it work so we could have other people follow us.
The show that you're talking about now is
Mhm.
Owen Nowhere.
Mhm.
And you said there was a previous name. So what was first? We Ghosted Media or Owen Nowhere? Did you have the show or the studio
Mm.
first?
We had the show first for many years.
We knew we wanted to do vampires that were retired from vamping.
I
Like
love that. Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
has a vampire ever, I mean, yeah, they go out in the sun, but they can put sunscreen on or whatever. And have they ever tried a hot dog? Why are they always drinking blood? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is the retired vamp? So it's kind of like a kid experiencing normalcy, like in this life, especially in the world we live in now. Like, what is normal? What is right?
Yeah.
So it started off with them, and then I think we got to thinking, you're like, what if they adopted children?
Yeah.
And then we thought of it. Well, what would that be look like in the eyes of the child? And so we're like, Owen Nowhere. And I think it would be if he was an influencer and he would try to video this adventure in life with
Yeah.
Black Plaid. And then the show became Owen Nowhere.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think we get relate more to the kids in
And I
general.
think the twist is that the parents, Glad and Glad, are retired vampires and they're like 1,000 years old. But Owen thinks that is so cool. Like he's not embarrassed by his parents. He really wants to show the world, like, oh my God, my parents are vampires.
But
But
guess
now,
what?
but now that they're normal, he feels like they're cramping his style now because he can't get followers. He's like, come on, guys, like I just want to film you transforming into a bat and blah blah blah. And but he can't because they're normal now. Normal. So
Yeah.
I think that's great. I love that.
so he's constantly trying to like get followers. Like, what can I do? So
Yeah.
he thinks his parents are ruining that for him.
Right. Because they're too
Mhm.
normal now.
Because they're too normal now. Yeah.
Don't
That's
got one
great.
follower and it's his mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like his mom. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the evolution of the pitch. So for
Yeah.
a handful of years, you're pitching it the traditional route as
Traditional way.
we're
Yep.
generally accustomed to. And
Yep.
then now with this new studio and this new opportunity, now you're finding a way that it could to give it life and it's evolving a bit.
Mhm.
How has the just creatively speaking, the concept evolved or adapted toward this new platform where there is viewer engagement? Because is there an on the road component to this
Yes.
where there's a road trip? Yeah, was that a
The whole
deliberate?
thing the whole thing is on the road, so they kinda pack up all their belongings and they travel in their travel hearse. It's called the Gloom Buggy,
Oh,
and they
that's
go
great.
to so they're this odd family going to oddities all around the world, and they're having experiences in these places. So, yes, so that's we thought that would be really cool in this type of Web3 space
Mhm.
because kids, even adults, can follow Owen wherever he's going. They could send him messages on the road. You could be like, "Hey, Owen, I have the world's largest frying pan in my city. Come visit me," you know? So we thought that was a really cool way to get kids involved, just one of the ways.
Could you talk about what that would look like to make that sort of storytelling choice based on something that someone sends, a message that you alluded to?
We're imagining because there's also like a message board on our space. So we're imagining like kids can write in, they can say, hey, come here or wherever. And then maybe in the next episode or next post, we can show them in that place. Or we could even do like a voting thing like, hey, Owen's at this fork in the road. Should he go here? Should he go there? And then maybe like as many people vote, the next place they go is wherever everyone voted for.
Yeah, we're also thinking of how we can interpret like a interactive element to the
Yeah.
show itself, where you can download something digitally and then go through the show itself and find those things. Or we have other ideas of like how we can make this more interactive than just watching a show. Or if they go to a certain area like the Upside Down Forest, they can buy like souvenirs from there. That
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, yeah. So there's lots of elements we're playing with right
Yeah.
now. Um,
That's really cool.
I think once it launches, we'll get a better sense of
We'll
like,
get a better sense of what's working, what's not working,
yeah,
because you always see I mean, I have 2 teenage boys, and I see, they love playing, Fortnite and Roblox, and they're, buying things on there, they're interacting with their friends, and then it's like, "Oh my god, this game is live at 3, I gotta go," like, I wanna be on my stream. So, it's like I'm like, "Okay, there's something here we can do with Owen and this element of, like, tuning in at a specific time to find something, you know?"
mm, yeah.
Right. And could you talk about where you are just in the production of Owen Nowhere? I think I saw a
Mhm.
recent update where you found
The
your voice
voice.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are right now, we are actually kicking off animation next week on we have 5 shorts that we're doing, and they're just these really simple, I think they range from, like, 20 seconds to maybe a minute, just under a minute, that tell these little stories about the glooms in different areas of parts of the world. But prior to that, we designed all the characters, we rigged them. We're using After Effects.
Okay.
So they've been rigged. We made a bunch of design digital assets. We were able to cast Owen, and we wrote a theme song. So we were really excited about that too. And now, we're animating these shorts. So the idea is to just generate interest in the characters first, and then hopefully this will lead to more requests for content.
Now, obviously, this is an original property, so
Hmm.
part of it is just getting the word out there about a
Hmm.
show, and now the messaging of, but this is a different kind of show. So, could you
Hmm.
talk about how you're balancing that kind of creative but also technical part of what you're doing?
Yes. So we actually started an Instagram page for Owen. So we've been slowly posting things on there. Our plan is to post one thing a week on there. So we're getting a very small following, but people are really reacting positively to it. And we are posting some things on LinkedIn as well,
And
kind of
eventually we'll
in
do, yeah, we'll
yeah, kind
eventually
of
go.
in tandem, but our plan is to go to TikTok next.
Mm.
And Lamina One has been so great with us, and they really have given us creative control over everything. Like they just want to make sure we're happy, which is, something very new to us, I guess, like
Yeah.
Right.
they want us to be happy with everything they're putting out. So they have a content rollout plan on Twitter. So they've been posting for us about Owen on their Twitter account. So they
Hmm.
roll something out once a week, but we approve all of the posts.
Yeah, I think also once it launches, I mean, it's gonna be a different story, but right now we're slowly teasing on all the social platforms. Um, and the responses we've been getting have been great. Like this is exactly like what I want Lamina and how it should work. Is like
Yeah.
this is great. I never see the process of how a show is built. I love seeing the stages, and that's how we're gonna get the community involved because
Yeah.
we get them hooked on a show, and then they come to Lamina where there's going to be a much greater interactive portion of the show rather than just posting something on Instagram.
That's what I find so fascinating is that this is like you're talking about. This is uh, risk and it's experimentation, but
Yes.
this is in a lot of ways necessary. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a reaction to what's happening right now in the industry, which is not a great outlook right now,
It's not
right?
a great outlook. Like so many networks, as you know, are so risk averse. They don't want to take chances. And look, like so many people, and like Chris and I, we have really amazing resumes. We have the credibility. We know we're experienced. We know what we're doing. And it like almost doesn't matter. Like I just couldn't believe at first how much we were being ghosted. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, these are my friends.
I
Right.
know. I
You know,
know.
so it
A lot of people that we knew were ghosting us too. But
yeah, and I was like, "What is going on?" But it really to everyone out there, it's not it's the industry and it's
right.
sometimes out of their control and it's we understand like what is happening
It
here,
goes
you
through
know?
waves. It goes through changes, and now we're kind of at a slump. And like, I don't know, let the big networks play with AI or do whatever they want to it. But if you don't have that creative mind behind AI, you're gonna get slopped basically. So I feel like there's gonna be this new generation that's just gonna want that have the creativity, and they don't need that network to express
Yeah.
Right.
it.
Well, there's so
Right.
much user generated content. Like even the influencers on Instagram who have thousands of followers, they have a following and they're making content, whether it's,
Yes.
this is what I bought on Amazon today. This is how I do my makeup. Like everything you could think of is out there. And
Yes.
and people are making money off of this.
Yes. Now, I'm curious, like flash forwarding ahead
Mhm.
to the platform and how one will be able to view Owen
Mhm.
Nowhere. Is it? I'm thinking of like Disney Plus. You click on the show, you watch it. What is that going to look like for Owen?
They're kind of still figuring it out. We do not want to do. I don't think it's going to be subscription based or anything like
Mm-mm.
that. You just go and you participate in the community. I think if anything, I don't want to speak for Lamina One because they're still figuring out this out with a huge team of people. But the way I look at it is that I want it to be not even like it's like a Patreon pay or like something where it's like you join it and you can watch it for free, or some
Yeah.
episodes might be locked that you pay for. I mean, this is they're figuring it out. We
You're
just
still figuring out.
They're still
Yeah.
figuring it out because we don't want it to be like because there is, because of Web3 and blockchain, it is directly related to cryptocurrency. So we don't want it to be like this kids need a wallet full of crypto to go on to O and O. It's not going to be like that.
no.
Right.
So yes, a lot of stuff will be accessible and free, but if you want to, like, we might want to unlock something that is exclusive. And maybe you need to buy a token, kind of like how you buy something in Roblox,
Like
Right.
just to
coins,
unlock it.
you know.
And there's this other component to Owen where we want to use digital collectibles. So wherever they go, if you collect all of the souvenirs, it might unlock something else. You as a fan might get a prize. Maybe your name pops up somewhere as like an early supporter. There's all these things we can do to reward fans. Like that's the other part
Mhm.
of this. It's like really rewarding the community, like making them feel involved.
And do you, at this point, have any idea about the size of the order? Like, I'm thinking you wouldn't say like 50 elevens that you're going to make, but do you have any sort
No.
of projection or can you even tell or not yet? It's still early.
No, like basically, we've been asked questions like if you had X amount of dollars, what can you do with it? Type
Right.
of thing. And because this isn't a traditional network, we could even make 10 5-minute episodes. We could
Right.
take an
Right.
11 and break it up into four acts as they are,
Right.
like 3 to 4 acts. And maybe those are the mini episodes. And maybe like each one unlocks the next. So
Yeah.
there's so many ways we can do this. So it's
Yeah.
not going to be traditional. We're not going to have like a 52 episode pickup. Like it's not going to be like that.
I would also like to say, like, I mean, kids these days, they're all about like watching reels or TikToks and stuff. So everything's short form anyways. And like if we can,
Yes.
I mean, this is a show about traveling, figuring out, like where you are in this world and visiting the places, these unique places across the world and the universe and whatever they go to, wherever they go to. I mean, I feel like I mean, it would be great to see a whole episode on it. Don't get me wrong, that's my dream to do whole episodes, but it's also great just to get snippets of this world they're going
Yeah.
to.
Right.
Everything's like
Yeah.
short formed and
Even the idea of what a whole episode is changing. I was talking to someone
Yes.
recently, and the same is true for my own career. But he made an observation. He's a writer that when he started out 30 years ago to now, everything he's written on is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Right? Like
mhm,
that's just
Sure.
the trend, no matter
mhm,
what. And so I
Yeah.
think the idea of what a whole episode is changing, and that's kind of out of our control. But this is something that you are able to adapt to, and that you're consciously
Yes.
structuring around, which is really
Yeah.
interesting.
I think
uh,
that's the key word is adaption because,
Yes.
like even leaving Nickelodeon and I'm like, what am I going to do now? But I still want to be creative. And, you have to experiment and you have to find some other way to get your stuff out there. And we were lucky enough to get connected with Lamina One.
Now, I know that this is a lot of this is new territory, but I'm just
Mhm.
curious about any unexpected challenges in particular that stick out to you that you've kinda had to cross during this time?
Yeah, I think for us, one of the challenges was this is a new platform and there's a lot of words we don't know. Like when we are in meetings with some of these like finance people that are talking about the platform and technology and the blockchain and all of this like Chris and I are just like, we don't know what you're saying. Like you need to look up every single word and like
yeah,
educate ourselves about this because it is so new, but it's
yeah.
also taking over. We see it everywhere. Like you
Yes.
just think in like the next 5 years, like you're gonna see a lot of Web3, I think.
Do you have a projected timeline on, like, when you're hoping to launch or some milestones that you can share?
Mm,
Mm. Well, it's interesting because we would have been launched already, but I know Lamina One, like they're just learning on the way as well because they're a startup as well. So I think it's really just nailing down the technology
yeah. I mean,
um, and
for
how
long
it's going to work.
I'm
But
sorry.
they keep saying June, so maybe we'll have stuff
Soon.
ready by June just to
Yeah.
show.
Just start building the community.
To start building the community. I mean, we're trying to start, we're trying on our own, like just on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter
Got it.
now is showing Owen. So we're hoping we get like some sort of fan base, no matter how small it is.
When you're looking ahead down the road like that, what does a success look like for this show?
Just to do things for ourselves. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like I don't know if can I take my laptop and Cintiq to Hawaii and work from there? I don't know. Have these meetings. I mean, I think since COVID and everything's proven we can do things from home, I would just love to run a team from with talent from across the world. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think really
So,
success is like I would love for all the shorts, everything we're working on now, we're working so hard and our we have 6 people on our team that we adore and that are working for us at like, doing us favors too because we don't have a huge budget at the moment. So I think for us we want to reward them. So we're hoping that all of this work that we're doing is going to generate a lot of interest not just to fans, but to Lamina One and their investors, and then they just decide, "Hey, this is working. Here's your budget. Go make more." So I think right now, success for us would be just making more.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then seeing where that goes because we have so many grand ideas as so many people do. We would love for this to be a series, to be a movie, to be a video game, to be a book series. Like, yes, to all those things, but in the immediate future, we just want more budget to make more content so we can, work with our team and reward them.
As we come to a close, I ask everybody this question, and I'd like to ask both of you, which is what is a rule in our industry that you think is worth breaking? And it could be a career rule or a writing rule. It seems like what you're doing now is kind of breaking the traditional rules
We're
of
breaking everything.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, I don't know about rules. It's just like, I mean, just don't ever give up on your stuff. I mean, that's more inspirational,
No, but
but
that's
it's like,
true.
I mean, if somebody says no and rejects your ideas, like, don't go. Like, yeah, who cares what they
yeah. Who
say?
cares?
The next the next person might love it. So I don't know. It's not like a real
Yeah.
rule breaker, but
I mean, I think for me, and this only came about recently when we were doing when we started working with Lamina One. There's this idea, don't build your IP in public, like keep it a secret. Um, so I think you don't have to keep projects secret until they're finished. I really love that we're showing behind the scenes content, like we dropped a few videos about how we write a script, about how we found our voice for Owen. We showed some clips of him in the booth. Um, and people really are fascinated by this process. We had to make this sizzle reel for Lamina One, and Chris and I, we film each other a lot. So we had this like funny skit at the top, and then it went into, you know, everything that we've ever done.
yeah, we do realize animation is like a long process and it takes
Yeah.
it's time consuming. So, what other content can we put out there to like
Yeah.
make up the time while you guys
Right.
wait?
Yeah,
So
and I
that's what
don't wanna make it secret, and I think because of that, so many people have reached out to I mean, that's how, Brandon, you and I connected, like,
Yeah.
we put this thing out there, this video, and, people have written us and said, "No one ever shows this."
mm,
So, there's something there, just to and you can see, like, Chris and I are not actors, like, we're really,
Right.
like, showing who we are and what we're doing, and it's frustrating, and it's not always great, and, there have been times where, like, "What are we doing? Should we just stop doing this?" Like and I
yeah.
think every creator has that moment too, like, I can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
The dark night of the
It's
soul, right?
you
It's like
it's hard to stay motivated sometimes, but when you throw things out there and then you get this positive feedback, it's like, "Wow, we have to keep going."
I love that.
Yeah.
I wanna come back to what you said and just Chris, for what you said about not giving up. There's a lot of people that I've talked to ask the same question and they give some sort of don't listen to other people response. And I think
Yeah.
that is something that we all feel throughout our career as creatives. And Jacqueline, like you're saying, this feeling of just giving up sometimes. Like I don't know if we're making
Yeah.
the right decision, and you're banging your head
Mhm.
against the wall. But it's that drive to just keep going. And
Keep going.
like you're saying, success is to doing. It's to make more of what you're
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
which I love. And you mentioned the scripting process and just not keeping the progress and creativity in the dark.
Mhm.
One a video I saw on LinkedIn was your voice actor receiving the news that
Yeah.
he got the part, and that's you don't see that very often, and
You
that was
don't
a
see
beautiful
that.
moment.
That was actually Chris's idea because we worked with Ed Lewis, our casting director, who we love, and he's so great, and he's also a voiceover director. And he directed George that day. Thank God, he was amazing with him. But Chris asked him, like, "Hey, can we film George getting the part?" And he's like, "Oh, let me find out." And they were so into it. He didn't know he was getting it. You could tell by his reaction, and
Yeah.
it was such like his reaction just was so genuine, and he was just so cute and so excited, and when he came to see us, in New York, he came and he was just so happy to be there. And it was just a really special day.
And you mentioned just sharing a video on the scripting process. Can you share what that was, or what
Mm.
people were lit up by?
I think it was because Chris and I, so we wrote our second episode and it's basically like our epic Goonies inspired episode. Like the Glooms go to the Cutty Sark, which is this
All right.
historical ship in London, not in London, in Greenwich. And it turns out that Vlad was sailed on it back in the 1700s. So
Yeah.
he's very familiar with it. And Owen's like, they find treasure and whatever. But
No
so
spoilers, Jackie.
yeah, I won't. But we were working with a development executive at the time, Chris Rose, who we love, and he really helped us shape some of our stories. And he like basically tore the script apart. And it was like, of course, it's disheartening because you're like, but I love every moment in here, you know? And as a writer, it's like now you have to let go of things. You have to let go of jokes. You can't use everything you want. So it was really about that. Like, what are we going to cut? You know, I'm attached to this. I don't want to move it, but we had to compromise on things. And a message that we got was, this is amazing. No one ever really shows how hard this is. Because it's so hard, as you know, to write an 11-minute, and this was an 11-minute story, but keeping the story moving, but making sure Owen is standing out the whole time because he's the main character. And we just went over like every section, and it's like, well, what are we going to get rid of? And we really had to break each other's hearts. Like I think I told Chris, I hated this. We have to move the song. I don't like the song. What do you mean? Like
I think
stuff like
after
that.
Yeah, well, there was 2 things that came out of that, though. After
Yeah.
sitting on it for a while, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm okay with getting rid of this section
Yeah.
because I see it now, and it doesn't really need to be in here. So I'm fine with leaving it." But then also, like, going through and, like, we came up with new ideas of, like, how to
Totally.
continue that main story and make it stronger. So it's a process, but it's a cool
I
learning.
love
I'm
that.
not
Yeah, and even at the end of it, we make this joke and that's how we write a script, and as you can see, we didn't get anywhere.
Right.
Is that
Sometimes
that's
that's
how it feels.
That's how it
yeah,
feels.
that's
Yeah.
right. On that, where can people follow your progress? Follow Owen. Where can they go to see this?
Yeah, so right now we are on Instagram, and the handle is Owen_Nowhere. And also Chris and I are on LinkedIn, so we post things on there. And then on Twitter, if you follow Lamina One, they've been posting a lot about Owen as well.
Okay, I'll get those links and put them in the
Yeah,
show notes too,
cool.
where
Yeah.
people can just go.
Yeah, yeah, we'll also, if you follow those, we'll let you know when Owen launches on Lamina One, and
It's super exciting. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so interested in this. I think you're breaking new ground, and it's
Thank you.
so fascinating just to hear the challenges and this new territory, but what you're bringing from your background to this new, in some ways, kind of new medium, new
Yeah,
territory is just so interesting, and I hope this inspires others to go after it the same way. But I
we
look
hope
forward
so
to
too. Yeah,
to look forward to being one of those people that follows you, and
great.
just want to say thank you, Jacqueline and Chris, for being here. This was so interesting.
Yeah, well, this was great. Thank you so much.
Hey, before you go, thank you for listening. If you want more episodes like this, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button. And while you're at it, grab my free guide, The Rule Breaker's Guide to Finding Your Creative Voice. It's a brutally honest roadmap I put together, built from the lessons, mistakes, and breakthroughs I've collected along my journey as a writer. You can download it for free at storyseriespodcast.com. See you in the next one.